doing? It was so funny. Yeah. As soon as we do the live, we'll go outside, okay? Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Forsyth in Georgia with one very excited puppy. You're not going to say hi? No, you just want to play. She's in playful mode. She wants to go for a walk, but I told her live first, then we can go for a walk. So now she's decided that she just started barking and growling at me and jumping up on the seat and wanting to play. But anyway, so how were your challenges today? What did you do with your challenges? How did you do with your language for your mindset? Were you able to rethink the way that you think things? So instead of saying I can't, turning around and saying how can I? Instead of saying weight loss, working on weight release. Instead of complete mind blank. Instead of saying I don't get it, saying how can I understand? What can I do to understand this? So finding ways to turn the negative around to the positive, because when you have the negative like weight loss, which is actually a negative thing, and you switch it to weight release, magic happens. And so it's changing the way that you think and the language that you use, because you may think you're a positive person, but when you're using words like I can't do this, I don't know how to do this, I don't understand this. When you're using words like that, you're just putting negative energy out. So now you need to flip it and make it more positive. Like, how can I? Or how, so when you say, how can I? Like, there's times I've been in mastermind groups where they've come up with some great ideas. And I'm like, wow, I love that idea. And I start to think now, that's not going to work. And I was like, no. How can I tweak it so it will work for my business? So it's looking for the opportunities and taking the advantage of the opportunities when they're there. Sorry, my dog's playing at the same time as we're doing the live. Your business one was all about rewards. So did you gamify today? Did you have a goal that you had to do, say 5 phone calls, send out 5 emails, whatever the goal was, so that you could then have a reward or something that you wanted to do? Like I sat down earlier, I had a break earlier today, and I really, really, really wanted to go and do one of those magic puzzles, but I hadn't completed my tasks for the day. So it was like, no, you cannot do that. I said, I've set up, this is what I have to do today. And when then I get to play one of those magic puzzles on Brad's iPad. So how did you do with your gamification and rewarding yourself today for things that you said that you were going to do, and then having your reward afterwards? And then your fun activity was Wiggle Wednesday. So how did your wiggling go? Did you wiggle your way around the room? Gee, that's a lot of W's in there. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So this morning I started off with a very rude awakening. The alarm didn't go off. Zephy was my alarm this morning. She came in this morning and she had a very unstuffed Bessie in her mouth, and it's hanging, so you got the head hanging down one side, the body hanging down the other, and she stands next to me and she shakes her head and the thing starts flopping around and whacking me in the face. So that was how I got woken up this morning. Have you ever had a dog whack you in the face with a semi-stuffed dinosaur? I actually woke up laughing. It was so funny. It was, first of all, I was like, what? And then when I saw Zephy there and she was going like this with her head and this thing's flopping around and whacking me in the face, I just started laughing. It was a great way to start the day. Get you in a really good mood when you start with the day with laughter. So that was first. And then I realized that it was 2 years ago today that I was in Ketchikan on my very first cruise since Brad passed. And I love Ketchikan. And when we were last there, we actually did a tour last time we were there, and we went up to the totem, the park there where they have all the totems, and we went to a bald eagle sanctuary, and we saw a hatchery for trout where the trout get to go and hatch, and then they go back into the wild. So they've actually got like a hatching place, and then they release the baby trout, whatever they're called, into the river stream and all of that sort of stuff to go off and live. So it's just a safe place for them to lay their eggs and have them hatch. And after a certain amount of time after they've hatched, release them back into the wild. So got to see that too. But so this time I went to the... What are you doing? This is what I have to put up with. Hey, no, drop that. Good girl. Her ball hasn't even gone under the recliner. She usually does that when the ball's under the recliner. It's actually sitting over there by her crate. And so this time I went and watched the Lumberjack show, which was really, really cool. I mean, these guys are world record holders. They're world champions. And just to watch them having fun doing something that they love was just awesome. And then afterwards I learned how to throw an axe, did crap on my practice throws, nailed it on my actual one that on the throw that counted. I actually got it to stay in the target. The other ones went wild, or they just were not pretty. And then I went wandering around, and last time I was there we'd heard about Creek Street, but I hadn't had a chance to go visit Creek Street. And I know I did some Facebook lives from Creek Street as I was wandering around, but there was just fascinating. It's just a fascinating place with an incredible history. And the one that got me the most was that the houses of ill repute were spread throughout Ketchikan, but then the government decided they were going to have them in one place, so put them on Creek Street. And if you had more than 2 females living in a house, it was considered a brothel. I thought, well, that's interesting. Just 2 people, just 2 women roommates, and you consider it, dang. And they were only allowed to be on Creek Street. And they had dance halls there, and they were on prohibition in the beginning of the 1900s, and they had the illegal liquor, which was the phrase hooch came from the liquor runners when they would deliver the hooch. That's where the term came from. And they would deliver the would you just stop? Sorry, I'm getting a slobbered ball all over my leg here. Hey, all right, go play with it. They would deliver the liquor on boats underneath the buildings, because the buildings overhung the creek, and deliver them up through trapdoors and stuff. And the authorities could never figure out how these people were getting the liquor, where it was coming from, where it was even hidden. I mean, years later when they're renovating buildings and stuff, they're finding hidden stashes still there from the early 1900s. And this is this was, I think if I remember correctly, it was like the 50s and the 60s when they were renovating the buildings and things. They were finding hidden stashes from the early 1900s. But get this is the place that really got me. It was 50 for a nip, and a nip of liquor back then was half a teaspoon. It cost you 50 cents. So when I was talking to my younger son Josh, and I was telling him the story, he says, what would that be worth today? So we got on Google, and there's actually a way that there's actually a site where you can figure things out. This was the price in whatever year it was, and this is what it is today. It turned out that 50 cents from 1912, I think it was, today is worth $10.53. So it would cost you $10.53 for half a teaspoon of booze. And it's like, wow. And if you want a full teaspoon, then that's, $21. So it was kind of amazing just to read this information. They have all these boards up all over the place, all this information there. And then a while later when I was researching, because I actually started writing a story based in Ketchikan, and I had the Russian mob involved and all that sort of stuff. And then when I went back and did some actual research, found out there was no Russians in Ketchikan at that time at all. And I was like, crap, now I've got to start to kind of rework the story. And but what was really funny is I was watching the Ketchikan Visitors Bureau. There's a website about the history of Ketchikan, and you go on there and they've got all these videos where they have interviewed people who were born and raised in Ketchikan. And they interviewed this woman who was 105, and she was a hoot. I mean, she sits there and she turns around and she says, there's buildings in this town that are younger than me, and they call them historic. I just cracked up laughing. I had to go back. Did I hear that correct? And go back. Yep, sure enough. So there's buildings in there that are younger than her. She was 105, and they considered those buildings historic. And I'm like, I wonder what she thinks. They think she is then. So that was kind of funny. But it was a great day in Ketchikan. I really enjoyed it. Learned a lot of the history. Just got so enthralled in the stories about Ketchikan. And somebody wants attention. Hey, sweetie girl. Yeah, we'll go for a walk in a minute. So it was 2 years ago today I was there, and I still remember it as vividly as if I was actually there today. It was just such a cool day there. So today I did the 3 W's. I did my weekly chores, which was emptying my tanks. Had to go put the sewer hose out, and I had to get the extension out because it took almost 20 feet of sewer hose today to get to where the outlet is. For some reason on this site, the utilities are at least 10 feet away from the site, and I'm sort of like, this is really weird. So yeah, it's just, I mean, my water hose is 10 feet in length, and it's almost the full length of my water hose from where I hook it up and going in a straight line to the faucet. And my power cable is a 20-foot cable. So I've got a lot of leeway on that. And then for my sewer, that's almost 20 feet away because I had to use my 10-foot one with the 10-foot extension on it to reach the hose, but it wasn't all fully stretched out, so it was just under 20 feet from that. So it was kind of interesting how they've got the utilities laid out at this site. So the first W has got the weekly chores done. The second W was got some writing done today, working on flash fiction again, and really enjoyed the piece of flash fiction I had reviewed by my writing group last week and got so inspired by that. And then when I was in Jennings over the weekend, I got inspired to write another story, and so I'm working on that, but it's just not gelling right. I know I can see the scene in my head playing out. It's trying to get it out of here into words, and it's just not gelling right. So maybe I'm just going to sit down and just like brainstorm write it, and then go back and work around it from there. And then my third W today is I was working on the website for Your Family Tree Detective, and having issues with GoDaddy and trying to get things done. So rather than spending hours on hold waiting for somebody to help, I just sort of like, we'll work on it on Friday, because tomorrow I'm back to back with calls tomorrow. And have my speaking of calls, had my weekly accountability call today, which was kind of cool. Got lots of things worked out, talked about, and everything else, and got my weekly goals sorted out and typed up and sent off to my accountability partner so she knows what to do. And then today we had a first for Zephy. Now I've been brushing her teeth, just putting the toothpaste on my finger and using that to rub it along her gum lines and on her teeth. Getting her used to that sort of a feeling. And today we had our first toothbrush. We used the toothbrush today, and she sees me pull out the toothbrush and immediately ran and laid on the floor, but on the bath mat in front of the shower there, like, you're not touching with that. And if I walked towards her, she got up and ran into the bedroom to hide. And so I just sat down on the couch, had them and everything in plain view for her to see, and she'd come up and she'd get like within about 4 feet of me, so I couldn't grab her, and just sort of like look, and the moment I moved, she'd shoot back into the bedroom. So we finally I finally got up and like filled up my water bottle and had a drink of water, and she came out and she sat there while I petted her, and then I picked her up, sat her on the couch, and she sat there while I brushed her teeth with her toothbrush. And and of course she loves the flavor of the toothpaste too. And when I was done with that, this poor crocodile, alligator, whatever it is, she loves the thing. She just sat there quietly and had it done, and afterwards she's like, like, that was really good, and wanting some more, and like sniffing at the tube going, well, I want some more of that. And I'm like, no, you're done. So put a little bit on my finger for her to put on, because they say even just getting the enzymes into the mouth helps. So whether you brush the teeth or you put the toothpaste with the enzymes on a chew toy for them, so it at least gets on their teeth and their gums, that's one way that you can help brush their teeth as well. So that was the first. And tonight we're going to go for a walk as soon as we're finished here, get her to burn some energy off. And what was that? If you stopped chewing on things, you wouldn't have to hack. You silly girl. We did have a delicious nap today too. We did take and she came and curled up right next to me, and we slept for it was just a 30-minute power nap, but it was good. It refreshed us both. And so yes, now I'm going to see if I can finish off my to-do list, the puzzle tonight. So after our walk, I'm going to finish that off, have some dinner, and we'll see where we go from there. So I hope you've all had a super fantastic sparkling day. Hope you did well with the challenges for today, and language for your mindset, rewards for your business, and wiggling the Wednesday away. Yeah, that kind of sounds fun. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll be back tomorrow morning with your challenges for tomorrow. He konera.